Top of the morning to you and happy St. Patrick's Day. Welcome to Unity Halton Peel, a home for your heart. And we're so grateful that you joined us today. And if you're viewing us down the road, we're just as grateful that you're doing that too. So the topic today is the shadow nose. And many of us remember that saying. I know when I was a lot younger, I would use it, the shadow nose. But I realized when I started this talk, I really didn't know what that was. So I had to look it up. And the shadow was a fictional character that was created by Walter B. Gibson and was one of the most famous heroes of the 30s and 40s. The shadow was the character. He was born as Kent Allard, but he was known as the shadow because he would assume various identities in the background for his crime-fighting work. Well, we're going to be talking about our golden shadow today. And the golden shadow knows the crimes that were committed against you that has caused your gifts, skills, and talents to be rejected, denied, and even banished from your consciousness. So to learn about the depths and intricacies of our personalities, and to do significant, meaningful, progressive work on a personal development level, it takes strength, courage, time, and above all else, honesty. Honesty with yourself. The shadow is in all of us, but many of us aren't even prepared to bring it to the light or to share it with the world. To embrace your shadow self is possibly one of the most empowering, enlightening things that you can do in your lifetime. To engage and accept the shadow in us is to sit in our whole authentic self, and not just the parts of us that we find palatable or acceptable to the masses. It's not about fitting in. It's about being true to yourself. And that being said, I'm not going to ask you to look at your dark shadow today. That's a whole nother talk somewhere, maybe down the road. I want to take you just to the golden shadow. And as everyone has the dark shadow self, each one of us has the golden shadow. Your golden shadow is the hidden potential that's buried within your unconsciousness, and it refers to the gleaming jewel of your brightest light. Because you all are bright lights. Do you ever feel there's another you hidden inside, a brighter you that is confident, capable, gifted, talented, empowered, and live fully in every single moment? Well, that hidden aspect of you is not a figment of your imagination. That you is very much real. When most people talk about the shadow, they're primarily associating it with the traits and the aspects that are perceived by our society as negative. In popular culture, the term shadow or shadow side usually refers to the darkness within, to the disowned and socially shamed parts of humanity, to that dark, dangerous, ugly, unwanted, forbidden traits. Well, that is not your golden shadow, thank you, God. So why does a golden shadow even form? Excuse me. It's highly likely that some of the qualities that were criticized in your earlier life, the aspects of you that you learned to suppress and disown and shove down into the shadows, were actually pretty amazing. They were full of beauty and power and pulsing life force energy. But just like the rest of your repressed darkness, you learned that these pieces of inner light were negative, or maybe you were made to feel shameful about them. So I'm going to give you my personal example of one of the many things that happened to me that caused me to repress my gifts. So as far back as I can remember, I have loved to sing, not just enjoyed singing, I loved to sing. And my earliest memory of singing, I was 4 years old, and I used to sit on the top of the monkey bars on my neighbor's swing set. And I envisioned that I was on this huge stage singing to thousands of people. She wore blue velvet, bom, bom, bom. I was 4. I was 4, and I used to be up there all the time. And then through public school, I sang in the church choir and I sang in the school choir. I was in the triple trio. Like, nobody told me I was a great singer, but nobody told me I couldn't sing. And I loved it. And then I got into grade 9 and they were having auditions for the school choir. And I'm standing in line and I'm waiting for my turn. And there's a guy standing in front of me who I didn't even know. And he turned to me and he said, I don't know why you're here. You can't even sing. And it was at that very moment that I stopped singing so that anybody could hear me. I believed him. I didn't even know him. He didn't know me. He didn't know I couldn't sing. But I took that and I shoved my singing voice somewhere deep inside me. And I know we all have experienced things where people have told us you couldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. You know, that's too braggart. Don't, like you're supposed to be humble. And so we shoved some of those talents and skills that we have down deep inside of us. And we shoved it into our golden shadow. That golden shadow is the part of ourselves that we've repressed or denied that holds our brilliance, our unique light, and really beautiful and powerful aspects of ourselves. We all have incredible qualities, really positive traits that had they not been triggered in a negative way, we would have developed into the greatest gifts and talents much earlier in our lives. But it's not too late. We can bring those, we can release those, we can free those now. Excuse me. It's a tragedy, isn't it? And one that most people aren't even aware of until it is brought into their consciousness. So today, I'm hoping that I can be the catalyst for each of you, opening up your unconscious awareness and unveiling all of your God-given gifts and talents. And what's even more tragic is that very often it's your creative potential that isn't embraced or accepted. So that's what ends up being buried deep in our conscious mind. It was Carl Jung who first identified the golden shadow as a full of submerged creative potential. He looked at it so positively that it's there, it's just waiting for us. He said, how can I be substantial if I do not cast a shadow? I must have a dark side also if I am to be whole. So in a nutshell, he's saying shadow is the portion of your psyche we're not aware of, but because it's not because it's mysterious or it's hidden per se, but because we deny it. Just like I denied my singing for decades. Here's why embracing the golden shadow is the key to unlocking a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Nothing is more important than making our darkness conscious, bringing it into our consciousness, especially when our goal is healthy integration, wholeness, balance, self-actualization, enlightenment. And everybody here at Unity are looking for those things. The good and the bad thing about the unconscious is that it works behind the scenes despite our consciousness. And if we're lucky enough to have a life experience that triggers our unconsciousness into giving us a much needed courage to make our darkness conscious, to bring it into the light, we'll be able to bolster the courage through the discovery of the shadow's gold. For my singing, it was hearing the voice of my son say, "Sing, Mum, sing," as I walked out after his funeral. I didn't care. I started singing at the top of my lungs the song that they were playing. I didn't care if I couldn't sing. I didn't care if anybody didn't like it. I didn't care anymore. I was going to sing and nothing was going to stop me. And I am so grateful because it has become such a gift for me to be able to sing. So let's start mining our gold, the gold within ourselves that has been waiting our entire lives to be set free. So let's look at 3 different mining methods. Number 1, look at your self-judgment. Often when we judge ourselves, it's because somebody has told us that it's not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You shouldn't be doing that. Who do you think you are anyway? And they keep coming up in us for us to look at, for us to heal, for us to embrace, for us to set free. So notice who triggers you into self-doubt and self-criticism. Who makes you feel less than? Who makes you doubt your own capabilities? Because whatever the skill is, when that is happening, is in your golden shadow. And it's something that needs to be looked at, to be released. And I'm not saying that maybe everything should, because, you know, I thought I should be a stand-up comedian, and I've tried that and it didn't work. So that's not one of my golden skills. But those things that you criticize are in there and they need to be released, whether you do anything with them or not. The second thing is watch your external judgments. Notice the times and situations that you cast criticism and judgment outwards. We know in unity that if I see it in you, it's in me. So if I'm judging you because you're always happy, damn it, you want to be happy. And it's in you, because I wouldn't be able to see it in you if it wasn't in me. What do you mean you're so creative? Like nobody can be that creative. Yeah, that creativity is in you, waiting to be embraced and released. So the next time you start judging someone, look at that inner dialogue that's going on, because it's a key to what you're holding in your golden shadow. Get curious about what leads you to accuse other people of being wrong. We are more aware of living life in truth now than we ever were when we were younger. It wasn't something that our parents even knew about, living in the truth, looking within to find the truth. It wasn't part of their life, but it is ours. So we don't have to carry all their beliefs forward that aren't serving us. We can let them go. This is another way that you can find your own path to your golden shadow. And your positive projections is number 3. When you admire and look up to someone, you are actually projecting your unclaimed positive qualities onto them. Like I said before, if it's in us, if we see it in you, it's in us. Your positive projections may be obvious to you, but if they don't seem to be, you can ask these questions. Who do you admire? Who do you envy? When you've landed on someone, write it down. Write down the qualities that they have that stand out to you. What is it about this person that draws you in? What do you admire specifically? What is it about them that activates you? And try to hone in on those specific gifts and talents. And the more emotion that you feel about those is your body telling you, I'm here, look at me, I'm here too, I'm not just out there. The gold that you so desire is actually within you. The only difference is that you've been used to denying yourself, but that's about to change. So you take that list of all those qualities and those people who you admire, and what do you do with them? What they've been doing in unity from the beginning, you take them into prayer and meditation and into the silence. You get out of your head, you go into your heart, you listen to your body. Here are some of the aspects of self that are commonly found in the golden shadow that we have denied: creativity, intuition, the intelligence of your body. So listening to what your body is telling you, your joyful inner child that wants to come out and play, a strong sense of purpose and direction, and a feeling of being connected to all things or belonging to something bigger than yourself, a deeper inner wisdom. So mystics have long spoken about connecting with your golden shadow. And here at Unity, we believe deeply the exact same thing. We have heard it is the light within. It's your inner knowing. All your answers you find within. All of these speak of the essence of that hidden wisdom within, that hidden light within, which is found in your golden shadow. Because the shadow knows. And of course, most of us are familiar with the amazing Marianne Williamson quote. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So deep inside you, know the truth of the golden shadow. But it can be hard for the conscious mind to grasp this scenario just by the very nature of the fact that it's subconscious and we've repressed it. Our conscious mind doesn't tune into it naturally or easily. And that's why the silence is so important. So here's a few more tips on how to connect with your golden shadow. Practice, practice, practice. Honoring and accepting all parts of yourself, no matter what you think of them. This tendency that we have in our culture to reject or repress all of our negative and uncomfortable, embarrassing aspects of ourselves leads to the shadow being created deeper. And anything like good vibes only mantras also leads to more shadow. The opposite of that is accepting all parts of you. Learning to grow in self-love and recognize that the parts of you that you judge as embarrassing or vulnerable or just kind of confusing and socially unacceptable, all of those parts need love too, and they need your love. Nobody else can give those parts love, and they'll be freed and shine their light. That love has to come from you. Tip number 2 is learn to connect with your heart and your body. All of this deep inner wisdom may be confusing to the analytical mind because we can remember the things that were told to us. We can decide, well, you know, maybe I could sing in the shower, but sing in front of people, like, get out of your head. Your heart has all the answers. They have all the answers. All of this deep inner wisdom is in our bodies. It's in our cells. It's in our hearts. And none of our body parts have forgotten it. They remember, even though our consciousness doesn't. You can connect to it anytime you want to. So if you practice tuning into your heart, tuning into the sensation of your body, then you have a really good first step to start to communicating with that deep parts of your psyche, your golden shadow. A simple activity that you can do to begin this journey is connecting to your golden shadow, is creating a golden shadow playlist. So right now, I would like you to think about a song that brings a positive, opens your heart and brings a positive, joy-filled, childlike essence into your body. So take a moment and think about what that song might be. It might be an instrumental, it might be a lullaby, it might be simply drums, it might be an oldie, and I want you to write the title of it in the chat. So while you're thinking about that and writing it in the chat, I'm going to share mine. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to sing yours. It's okay. I cannot be miserable, angry, down in the dumps when I hear that song. I can't. I can't stop my body from moving. I can't stop from smiling every time I hear that song. And it's sort of ironic because the song is such a wide key range, I can't even sing it. I can't sing the whole song and properly. But I love it because it takes me back to a time in my childhood. There was a summer that I spent the entire 8 weeks with the 2 sisters who lived next door. And all we did was play cards and swim and eat and listen to the radio. And this was #1 on the charts that summer. And then it also takes me forward when my kids were in public school. And if I was having a hard time waking them up in the morning, I would go into the rooms and I'd start singing this. And it brought me such joy because they hated it. And I loved singing it. So I'm gonna open the chat because I want to see what songs. Anya. Oh, I love Anya, Patricia. Absolutely. Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Patricia, that's wonderful. And that opens a lot of people's hearts. But we all have songs that we connect to in our hearts, and our body just envelopes them. Song of Joy, Miguel, that's lovely. Absolutely lovely. So your golden shadow playlist will take you to a place where your heart is open and ready to connect within. That is where you will find the truth of who you are. That is where your gifts and talents have been waiting your whole life to be revealed. Your job then is not to deny them any longer. You don't have to do anything with them, just acknowledge them for now. Acknowledgement is the first step to healing. The more you connect with them, the closer you become to accepting them as your truth. It's not an overnight thing, it's a process. So trust the process. When you can see the part of your shadow fully, it's no longer a shadow. It becomes conscious. It becomes a part of your consciousness. It can go from being an unfulfilled potential to part of your soul's path, which can only be your true, authentic self. So Carl Jung gets the final word. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of simply being. Namaste. So let's prepare for meditation. So if you feel comfortable, just let go, close your eyes, relax, know that you are safe and you are protected. And just taking a deep breath, opening up your heart and clearing your mind. And do that again. Open your heart and clear your mind. And one more time. See, feel, imagine it to be so that you are listening to that song that came to your mind earlier, that one that opens your heart. Just sit quietly and focus only on the song. Sway to the beat. Take in the positive energy coming from the words, if your song has words. Take the loving energy that's coming from the music, from the notes, into your heart. Feel it in your entire body. If it helps, you can put your hand on your heart so you can direct the attention into your heart chakra. Just simply listen to the song. Feel all the positivity that arises in you. Just listen with gratitude. When the song is finished, ask your heart what it has to share with you that it received from that song. Could be a word, could be a message, could be a vision. Don't judge what comes up or deny its truth. Just accept it and then thank your heart for its love and its guidance. Now take that new wisdom, that new vision into the silence in pure divine love and gratitude. In the silence. Know that you are perfect in every way, just as you are. Know that all of your gifts, skills, and talents are God-given, and they were given for you to share with the world, so let them shine. Know that you are beautiful. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Amen.